Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at eTrailer, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Yakima EXO system with the SwingBase hitch extender, which I have here, as well as the DoubleUp bike rack and the ski and snowboard carrier, which is the Yakima EXO SnowBank. So first, we're going to talk about how our bike rack fits. So here with the SwingBase, what we do have here is a weight capacity that changes depending on what kind of accessory you have on. So if you're not sure what weight capacity you have to work with, it does depend on whether you're using the bike rack, the cargo carrier, the ski and snowboard carrier. As you can see, you can check those out here on our product pages at etrailer.com. So for the DoubleUp bike rack, this has a weight capacity of 50 pounds per bike, as it is here on our SwingBase. Now, if you happen to have the top shelf and you put it on there, it's going to have a weight capacity of 40 pounds per bike then. So here, when we do have it on the SwingBase, I'm going to take a look at how it fits with our vehicle. So with our Honda CRV, we're going to take some measurements, and I'm going to measure from our rear bumper on our CRV to the end of the bike rack. So the bike rack sits at about 34 inches away from the end of our bumper. And then while we're here, we might as well take some ground clearance measurements. So this is going to be for the SwingBase itself, and that's going to be 14 inches from the ground. This is also going to depend on what kind of hitch you have on your CRV, but the closest point to the ground for the SwingBase will be either by those arms further out or over underneath the shank. It's going to sit at 11 inches when it comes to ground clearance. Okay, back to the bike rack. So we talked about weight capacity, which is 50 pounds per bike. Now this is going to work with your heavier bikes as well, so if you do happen to have an electric bike, that's going to be okay as long as it's not extra heavy, above 50 pounds. Now over here, we can take a look at the way our bike is mounted. So we have a carbon frame bike, and that's okay because we have a front wheel mount as well. So that's holding it down in the front, and then we have a rear wheel strap in the back. So that strap can accommodate tire widths of up to 4.8 inches. So if you happen to have a fat tire bike, that's okay as long as it's not the extra wide one, which is more than 4.8 inches wide. But when you want to take your bike off, that's actually where you start. And you start by pressing the lever on that rear wheel strap and then pushing up on the strap or pulling up on the strap, whichever works for you. So just pull that up all the way out and then try to leave it to the side as much as you can so it doesn't get caught up in your spokes. And then come over here to the front. Make sure to support your bike as you do so. With the way the DoubleUp is designed, you may need to reach around since your button is right over here. So press that button there on the front wheel mount, lift up on that mount, and then push it out to the side. And then from here, you can then just lift your bike up and you're ready to go on a bike ride right over there. And then when you do have your bike off, and if you still want to keep your DoubleUp on, please try to put those straps back into place. That way they're not flopping around as you drive around. You also have this front wheel cradle, and this is just gonna pop back into its tab, and that's gonna stow that cradle. So you saw right over there that even if we have with those shorter bars, it was an okay fit. Now you do have a clearance from your hatch or your door to the center of the bike of 16 inches, if that's gonna help you out with your longer handlebars. That's gonna be the measurement you have to work with. Okay. So the main thing about this bike rack is that front wheel mount, which makes it easy to use with alternate frame bikes like step-through bikes, women's bikes, children's bikes, because then you don't need that frame adapter. This is also going to have cable locks, so that lock is going to pop right into there. So make sure you have the matching lock cores with the rest of your EXO system if you want to lock this bike rack with a single key. Now, with this covered, this is also made of a nice lightweight steel construction, keeping it durable. Although if you do scratch it up, please try to maintain that paint finish to maintain its rust resistance. So we're gonna switch it out really quick just to show off the SwingBase system. So we'll rotate, actually unlock these tabs. They're in the unlocked position. And we're gonna rotate these knobs until it releases from those cleats, release from the bike rack. Then you just lift that bike rack up and then set it to the side. Ready to switch with our next accessory. So our next accessory is gonna be the Yakima EXO SnowBank, which is the ski and the snowboard carrier, so that when you want to take your skis and snowboards out, you can switch it off. So between the seasons, when it starts getting colder, when winter comes, you're ready with the next accessory. So that fits right into those tracks. And then tighten it down with these locking speed knobs. And then lock it into place. So just keep tightening until you can press that tab. And if you do have the keys, just lock those knobs. All right, so now we have this SnowBank. So we'll take some quick measurements with it in the downward position. So from our CRV to the end of the SnowBank, it sits out at 40 inches. The closest point will still be the same because that's the SwingBase. Now this can fit skis and snowboards. It does depend, of course, on the size of your ski or your snowboard, but a tentative measurement is that it can fit 5 pairs of skis or 4 snowboards. So this fits right into there. You have the double hinge, so if you have your larger bearings on your skis, it can fit over those thicker bearings, and you just pop this down and you have kind of a ratcheting end too to secure your skis and your snowboards. You have that cushion as well on the SnowBank, which is going to help out with that, as well as that large button, so even if you're wearing your gloves, you can still use this carrier. Okay, so with the ski and snowboard carrier, this is going to fit on both your SwingBase and your top shelf, whichever you want to use this with. It's a great way to switch out different accessories, just like how I switched out the bike rack for this carrier. You can do the same thing for the box as well as the basket. So let's talk about the SwingBase now. As for how the SwingBase fits with our CRV, we already took a look at the ground clearance. We also took a look at how it fits on our CRV in terms of the height. So we'll also take a look at our measurement for closest point. It's going to be 3.5 inches away from our bumper. So that's going to help out with if you do need, or if you do have larger items that stick out, especially for your bikes. Now, if you do need some clearance there, you're gonna have 3.5 inches of clearance in order to hold this knob. What is this knob for? This is to swing away the SwingBase. So you're gonna rotate this knob right over there, and that's gonna release that SwingBase. And then to fully release it, you pull this knob and then just swing it out. So make sure, there we go. And then just slide that out a full 90 degrees until that knob latches in the corner. So as you can see, it's completely swung out, and this will be done if you want to open up your hatch. So here you have plenty of space to get into your hatch. Maybe grab your bags, grab your tables, grab your chairs, whatever you need for whichever adventure, whether you have the bike rack on or the ski and snowboard on or the cargo box on your SwingBase. So we'll just put this right back down. In terms of clearance, right over here. So from our end of our vehicle, it's almost perfectly aligned. We have about 4 inches from the end of the vehicle to this corner right over here. So it does sit out a little bit towards the inside of your car, but it is still perfectly enough space in order to open our door. If you do have heavier items, make sure to put the jack that gives you some support right over here. And then when you want to bring it back in, you just lift this knob and you pull on this handle and then just swing it back, and it slides up, and then you use this knob to tighten it back down. Now be very sure that you're tightening this down completely, because this is what's holding the entire SwingBase system together. So before you drive away, just double check this part. Okay, now we'll talk about how the SwingBase fits into our hitch. This has a 2-inch shank, and make sure you have enough weight capacity. I recommend a hitch receiver that has at least over 350 pounds in order to act or utilize the entire system. You have this anti-rattle bolt and this lock. Now that anti-rattle bolt also comes with a Yakima wrench to tighten that down, but I also recommend picking up a socket wrench, especially one that has either a 24mm socket or an inch socket. That's what I use, because I use a ratchet wrench and it's so much easier to tighten it down that way. So especially since this is a heavy system overall, you want to make sure it is perfectly tightened down and that you're using the correct tools. Okay, with this down here, you can also see how you can still open your hatch with the SnowBank on. If you only have the SwingBase system on, you can do that as well. As for how it fits here with our Honda CR-V, I think we have pretty good clearance when it comes to how far away it is. With our top shelf, you may be concerned about how close it gets to our Honda CR-V, but right where that mast is for the top shelf, where that top shelf is going to be, it's going to stick up straight up from there. So you're going to have about 7 inches of clearance for when you want to upgrade to the top shelf someday. So again, with the Yakima EXO system, it's all about how modular it is. It's about mixing and matching with different accessories. This was just a glimpse into how it fits with the Honda CR-V. We also have videos on all of our other pages about each accessory, going into detail about each and every one of them. So I do recommend checking those out and considering how it's going to work with the top shelf, with the cargo basket, with the cargo box, and seeing them all work together. So that was a look at the Yakima EXO SwingBase system with the DoubleUp bike rack and the SnowBank ski and snowboard carrier here on our 2021 Honda CR-V. My name is Evangeline, and I hope you enjoyed the journey.